Hey, it's Tuesday at 2. So glad you've joined us from Circle B Diecast here in Concord, North Carolina. Steve Post from the Motor Racing Network, TikTok. We know you've been on for a few moments. Good to see everyone with TikTok. And let's see, Kyle and Brad and Brent and Zach. And then over on our regular channels, Victor is on the pole position, as it should be. Clay, John, Daniel, and a whole lot more. So we are glad you have joined us here on our visit, talking a little racing stuff. We have race winning diecast available from the weekend. You can go to circlebdiecast.com and get that. And of course, coming up at the top of the hour, Jonathan going to be in here wheeling and dealing. Get out those credit cards, get out those debit cards. You're going to have to snap to it. We've got some great deals, that's for sure. Fun stuff, absolutely. So we are glad that you have joined us here on all of our channels and talking a little NASCAR racing. That is for sure. Good stuff. Absolutely. So going to be fun. Neat stuff. So if you have questions, you can type them in. We see TikTok and we see on our other channels. We've got questions and going from there. Daniel says the race at Portland was amazing and wet. Yes, but it was amazing. And I am so glad we got out to that part of the world. That is such a neat part. I didn't make it out there. Another part of our MRN crew was out there. And they said, despite the weather, they loved it. It was great. It was fun. And I know AJ Allmendinger really enjoyed his stay out there because he brought home the big trophy. So pretty neat. Good to see NASCAR going to different spots and going there. Clifford says, how about the race at Worldwide Technology Raceway? And what about the shenanigans? And John wants to know, crazier race than the Coke 600. What did you think of the racing at Gateway? So, yeah, good stuff. You know what? Let's go back because we did not meet last week because as projected, we had internet's issues. And as projected, they did run a little bit longer, although I think it was a little bit better than we thought. I think it was a little bit longer than we thought. I think the boss man chimed in. Brent said anywhere from 2 hours to 5 days. The good news is we were closer to 2 hours than 5 days. But you never know with internet challenges, and everything's been up and running good. One little glitch. They had to come back the next day, but I think we got everything going. So, John, let's talk about the Coca-Cola 600 first off. I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. After we left Texas, I knew I was going to Port Royal Speedway for sprint car racing, and I was glad. I'm like, oh, this 600. Ooh, this not there. Yeah, I don't know about this one. Wow. The Coca-Cola 600. If you didn't like what was happening in the Coca-Cola 600, just blink because it was going to change in the next 10 minutes. John, that was wild. I mean, I was up at Port Royal doing my sprint car thing, and I'm following along on Twitter, and it's like, man, does anyone have a TV here? I want to see what's going on in Charlotte. It was awesome. Coca-Cola 600 delivered. Denny Hamlin delivered as well, just like FedEx parked that thing in Victory Lane. So, yes. Going back to the Coke 600, it was awesome, John. It was really, really cool. Now, you and Clifford wanted to know about the race at Gateway. Woo, man. Okay, so I'm going to be totally honest with you as well. I went to Gateway thinking we are in jeopardy of having a single file parade. I had a much better feeling about it after the truck race. And I had a much better feeling talking to Christopher Bell about it. Because Christopher Bell is like, dude, we're going to be all over this place. I said, really? He said, yeah, we're going to be all over this place. Well, C-Bell knows a whole lot more about racing race cars than Steve Post does. Because they were all over that place. And it was wild. Racing was just very, very good. Very good racing. We had that one stint at the beginning of stage 3. I think Truex was leading the race. I'm like, oh, here we go. This was what I feared. We had a caution, and it was game on to the end of the day, to the checkered flag. So it was awesome. It really was. The shenanigans, you know, and I see somebody, Donald says, I didn't like what Denny did. 2 wrongs don't make it right. Yeah. I don't know, Donald. I get pissed off driving down Zion Church Road out here. You know, I've never driven a race car competitively. I've driven on the highway, and it's just like I lose my mind. I can't imagine the restraint that people have. And so when I look at what Denny, Chase, Ross all did, and then I listened to what NASCAR said this morning. Scott Miller was on, or yesterday or today was on Sirius, and he said, "Look, we had people impacting other people's day, but nobody wrecked anybody. Denny never hit Ross's car. It looked like he was going to after Ross bounced off the wall after Chase sent him up the racetrack." I'm never one that likes to be one of those media people that says they should do this. Denny, shame on you, Denny. Shame on you, Chase. Shame on you, Ross. I'm kind of a big proponent of they all kind of knew what they were getting into when they signed up for this. I'll do a little comparison, okay? You kind of know what you're dealing with when you're racing Ross Chastain. We're learning. We kind of know what you're dealing with when you're racing with Martin Truex Jr. Very different. You kind of know what you're getting when you race with Joey Logano, okay? Anybody on the planet think that if Joey didn't get the lead in turn 4 coming to the white flag, that on that final lap, he would not have roughed up Kyle Busch? If you think he would not have roughed him up if he could have got him, you're not paying attention. I think there's an overall driver code. I think that's very blurry now. I'll say that. I think it's changed. Although there was a guy that drove a black number 3 that wrecked a lot of people. Oh my God, he said it. He said it. Oh my gosh, flag the tape. He said it. There was a guy that drove a Kodak number 4 and a Haviland number 28 that had to stand up in a driver's meeting and apologize, Ernie Irvin. So maybe the rules haven't changed. Maybe we're just amped up about these kids these days like old people get. There's a driver code, and I think every driver has a little different code. And where it gets interesting is where those different codes meet. Denny did not like that Ross roughed him up. Okay, that's fine. Then Chase did not like that Ross roughed him up. Well, remember a few years ago when Chase did not like that Denny roughed him up. Hey, I love it. I'm just going to cut to the chase. Okay? Donald, you may not like what Denny did. I loved it. Look, settle it. If now Denny wrecks him, I think that's something totally different. But I'm telling you what, he made Ross Chastain's day hell. Well, you know what happened prior to that? Ross Chastain made Denny Hamlin's day hell. Okay? That car was wounded. I don't know. Boys have at it. Let them settle it. Now, I think that they will be a meeting. My hunch is there'll be a meeting on Friday morning or Saturday morning before we go in the racetrack at Sonoma to kind of lay it out. But I don't know. I don't know. Just, man, I'll tell you what. We're talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. We're all having a good time. Nobody got an eye put out. Okay? So why not? Why not? I'm fine. I'm fine with it all. And finally, somebody brought Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott together. Yes. Oh, they found a common enemy. It's NASCAR. It is what it is. It's always been this way. There was a race at Bowman Gray Stadium where a guy drove through the infield and T-boned a guy. Would we rather that? I mean, if we lose our passion, if Denny Hamlin says, that's all right, Ross, go ahead, run me up the racetrack. If Denny doesn't, pardon the phrase, F with him just a little bit, have we not lost some of the excitement of the sport? I don't know. I'm fine. I watched it. I had fun. Diecast collector. The race was very entertaining because of the 1 and the 11. You know, it just is. You know, when it's self-policing, you have to expect an eye for an eye mentality. No, Amy, there's Ross got into Denny. Denny never touched Ross. I mean, it's you know, we go back a couple of years ago when Joey wrecked Matt wrecked Joey, they parked Matt. And that's another debate for another. I mean, it's a debate. It's just Joey Logano and Ross Chastain are going to run you hard. They are going to be on the receiving end of running hard as well. How do they handle it when they get roughed up? Stay tuned. We'll see what happens. It's cool. KP Potts, I love it. Bring back the day with racing. Exactly. So I really do. I'm all right with it. I'm thinking that Kurt Becker is one of our turn announcers, and he's from Altamont, Illinois, which is about an hour there. So it's his home race, and he is so talented with words and so talented with thoughts and everything. And he's covered a lot of the races at Gateway, the Xfinity Series races and the Truck Series races. And toward the end of the day, we had a caution or something, and they're like, Kurt, this is your home track, kind of big picture, what you've taken away from this. He said, I've been coming here a long time. He says, I've talked about a lot of really, really neat things here. I've called a lot of really, really good races here, but I've never had a time where I'm not sure if I was calling the race for the lead or calling the race for last was more entertaining. When have we had that in NASCAR? When the race for the lead, because that was when McDowell was up there mixing it up at the front of which in itself, McDowell up there mixing it up in the field, and it wasn't Daytona or Talladega. Another team that seems to find some pretty good speed at times. It was wild. It was an inaugural race. The track did a great job. The racers, everybody. I mean, gosh, man, I'm telling you what. I don't know how many times I've sat here this year being like, my gosh, we've got it good in NASCAR right now. We've got it real good in NASCAR right now. When they first rolled onto the floor of that Coliseum, I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. Little did I realize that 5 months later, I'd be sitting there saying, man, what a year. I mean, we had a great Coca-Cola 600 for Pete's sakes. I mean, I don't know. It's been good. It's been good. Amy said, oh, okay, Amy, I see what you're saying. No, I don't think Denny's quite done yet either. Now, we will see. Denny talking about fencing people, maybe that might, we'll see. We'll see. It's good. No, I get you, Amy. I get it. That's it. So, yes, exactly. AJ Sell. Steve, do you think the safety crew should have been quicker to get to Carson's truck on Saturday? I would like to have seen them get there quicker. There were 3 trucks. I'd like to have seen him got up to him a little bit quicker. It was more dramatic with the in-car audio with him screaming help. And I'd be screaming the same thing. I'd like them to have got there a little bit quicker. It wasn't like they were sitting in their trucks watching. They were with other drivers. He dropped the window net, which is a sign that he's not seriously injured. So I think if you're a safety worker and the guy drops the window net, you're like, okay, he's all right. I'd like to, here's where I fall with it, AJ. I think it's a great question. And I think, I do think that it needs to be addressed and assessed and looked at. I'd like to have seen him get to his truck a little bit quicker, but I also kind of sort of think I can understand why they didn't. Is that fair? I mean, I know I'm hedging here. I know, but I don't know. Even when you could hear the safety workers talking to Carson, you notice that it was so loud when the trucks are going by. So you've got an active crash scene with trucks going by at 65 miles per hour. I don't know. I think that they should, I think that it's something that needs to be looked at. What could maybe we do a little bit better, but I'm not sure it was, I'm not sure what more could have been done either. If they'd have gone, we would not have, there's 3 trucks wadded up. Okay. They go to Carson's truck first. We're not having this discussion. They went to the other 2 trucks first. I mean, how many safety crews do we need? When we go to Talladega, do we need 18 safety crews because we're going to have a big one? Well, what happens when you have the 26 car crash? I mean, I think it was dramatic, and that video of Carson in the truck was chills. God awful. I don't want to hear that. I think that might have made it just that much more dramatic than it was. I'd like to have seen him got there quicker, but I'm not sure either. So I don't know if I know I haven't given you a yes or no answer because I don't have a yes or no answer in my mind. So it's all, it's a high speed sport. I mean, and you know, and I hate it, I hope Carson, man, love Carson Hocevar. Oh my gosh, what a talent he is. And the last I knew, they was waiting for the experts to decide what the timeline was going to be on his return. I'm going to Berlin, Michigan. He was supposed to race tomorrow night. I'll be shocked if he's there, but these racers, I'll never be shocked when they show up and pop into a race car. So, just hoping for the best with Carson on it. Exactly there. So let's see where we at. Where we at here? What did I miss? Diecast collector, IndyCar has a safety team. NASCAR should do the same. Well, they do. They have the AMR safety crew that travels around. And no, it's not the same as the Indy safety team, but it's markedly better than we had 10 years ago. It's easy. It's easy to say they should have this and they should have this. Sometimes it's tough to do. I would like to see more safety every time we turn around. And if that's a safety team, yes. But we do have the AMR safety crew that rushes out to the cars. And when you have three of them, they pick the other two first. I don't know. I'm not far enough in the weeds on that. It's like I said, it's easy to say. It's easy to say they should do what IndyCar's doing. But yeah, now maybe we should after that or seeing that. But there's some things that AMR safety crew do is really good. From all accounts, everything that happened with Ryan Newman upside down in the car at Daytona was pretty spectacular, what they did. So yeah, it's one of those things. Safety is one of those things that is always a moving target. And I think we as a sport, as a series, as a sanctioning body, as tracks need to keep moving with it. And ultimately, if it does lead to a traveling safety team closer to what Indy has than the AMR safety crew, then I'm all for it. But I think there's a lot of people that are in the process. And in a situation like Saturday at Gateway, they, I'm sure, are going to assess it and go forward with it. So that's cool. It's good. Sonoma Scott is in the house. You're late. What did you miss? Well, you missed it all, Scott. You missed it all. But as long as you go to Sonoma this week, you'll be all right. Steve, are you headed Eldora for the million? Thoughts on it? John, you're breaking my heart. No, I'm not. Eldora on Thursday night has a late model race, dirt late models, which, by the way, we have dirt late model diecast, paying $1 million to win. I'd love to go there. I'd love to see it, but I'm going to be in California by then, getting ready for the truck series at Sonoma and some sprint car racing on Friday night. But I love that the dirt late model world is on fire, and it's really going well. So it's cool. That's it. Yep. Scott says 2 days before I leave for Sonoma. There you go. Donald, yeah, I haven't heard anything about Harvick. Donald says Harvick was really slow getting out. Did he get hurt? He was walking gingerly to the ambulance. I know that. I haven't heard anything, but he was a big hit. That was a big hit by Kevin Harvick. It really was. Matthew, okay, Postman working 11 p.m. Thursday night. Then often, Matthew's going out to the World of Outlaws at Knoxville this weekend. I know where you're going. Out to Knoxville. So fun stuff. Lots and lots of great racing out there. Of course, NASCAR is headed to Sonoma, out in California, wine country. We have trucks in Arca West on Saturday. Motor Racing Network's going to be there. Then Cup Series, PRN's doing that race. So can't wait to get out there. Matthew's going sprint car racing. I'm actually going on sprint car racing on Friday night. Series out in California, King of the West Series, the NARC Series. It's some great racing. And I would encourage everyone, whether it's the Eldora Million, as John talked about, get out to a racetrack this weekend. If you're not in the Sonoma area, I see Patrick. I have tickets for Sonoma, can't go. That does suck, man. I hate that. I hate to hear that. But if you're out there, but if you're not, go find a racetrack near you. Absolutely. So Zach over on TikTok, who's your favorite to win Ohio Speed Week with the All-Stars? Justin Peck. Justin Peck. How about that? There you go. I like where that team is at. Justin was injured last year. Zach, we're talking sprint car racing now. Justin was injured last year, but I think He's doing good. He's doing really good. So fun stuff for sure. We're at a fun time in the sport, folks. NASCAR goes to Sonoma, and then the Cup Series has the week off. I'm actually then that next weekend is the dirt race at Knoxville for the Truck Series. So we're at a good spot. Short track racers are racing all over the country. Get out and support your local short track racer. And when NASCAR comes to you, make sure you go. There was a columnist for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, John Hockman. Might not be John. Wesley, John, okay. If you follow my Twitter, I retweeted the guy, okay? He is a guy that had never been to a NASCAR race before. And he documented 7:45 in the morning and 8:15 and everything else. He captured it exactly. TV does a great job covering the sport. And I will boast and say that radio does a great job covering this sport. None of us do anything covering this sport like being there at the racetrack, at the Cup race, at the Xfinity race, at the truck race, at a dirt late model race, at a sprint car race, at a bomber race, at your local Saturday night racetrack. Nothing, period, nothing, period. No, nothing, exclamation point, compares with being at the racetrack. Get out to the racetrack. And there are racetracks in every town. I was in Farmington, Missouri on Saturday night, the St. Francis County Raceway. I saw vintage cars. I saw B mods. I saw A mods. I saw street stocks, and I saw sprint cars. I had hot dogs. I had French fries. I had popcorn, and I had 2 Diet Pepsis. And you know what else I had? A fantastic time. I could have watched that race on the track's pay-per-view. It was nothing on pay-per-view like it is in person. So go to a racetrack. Go to a racetrack. I'm going to wrap this rant up with my buddy Matthew. Matthew is from up in Wisconsin. Matthew loves his sprint cars. Matthew's going to Knoxville this week. Matthew could stay at home. Matthew has got the absolute hot ticket best ever set up in his home to watch pay-per-view races. He has got it locked in. He sent pictures of it. His setup to watch races is spectacular. You know what he's doing this weekend? He's driving from Wisconsin to Knoxville, Iowa, because Matthew knows that being at the racetrack is better than pay-per-view, better than TV, better than radio. It's all good, but it's great being at the racetrack. And Matthew gives me an amen. I am with you on that, Matthew, and I know you're going to enjoy Knoxville. I know you do. So it's good. It's good stuff. Get out to the racetrack, big track, little track, short track. Go do it and have it. Matthew, a 5-hour drive. And he could sit home and watch it on Dirt Vision in the comfort of his home, and he has a great setup to do it, okay? But he's driving the 5 hours because at the racetrack is better than television or radio. And I'm a radio guy, and I appreciate you watching radio, listening to radio. And I do a lot of pay-per-view races, and I appreciate you watching the pay-per-view races I do, whether it's Millbridge on Dirt Vision, Summer Shootouts coming up on Flow. I love that you follow along with it, but nothing compares to being at the racetrack. Nothing compares. Norman says, I love meeting my friends at the track. Norman, that is it, and that is where we're going to end it. Race Winning Diecast is available at www.circlebdiecast.com. Jonathan is coming in. Have those credit cards ready. Get ready, because when that man wheels, they are deals. And he is wheeling and dealing, and you need to be ready. I told you this story a couple weeks ago. I saw something I wanted. I hee-hawed around in my office, reached in my pocket, got the credit card, boom, boom, boom. Whoop, it was gone before I could even get the punched into the thing. It was gone. So when Jonathan puts a deal up there, y'all better get serious about it. Y'all better get serious. I'll tell you what, last time I was here, I snuck some hats out of his stash just so I could get them, because I can't buy the things because I'm not fast enough on the trigger. Make sure you do it. He is wheeling and dealing coming up at the top of the hour. I'm Steve Post, the postman from MRN Radio. So glad we hung out here a little bit today and talked a little racing. Our Tuesday at 2 visits. I love them. Remember all your diecast needs. www.circlebdiecast. We'll talk to you real soon.